I remember it was a week after you got benchmarks, you came back with some very great ROI and some wins that you were tracking towards. Would love to hear more about those ROI wins, how you got them, what they were. I mean, you came in hot off the press, you were ready to go.
Yeah, there's nothing like making sure that we solidify that ROI. I sold benchmarks on the sole knowing and trusting that, hey, we will get our ROI back. And so I was beside myself when we logged in and we were under an active negotiation with a third party. And we ran the data through benchmarks. And within the first week, we had a $50,000 cost avoidance within that first run of benchmarks. And so I was so happy to be able to go to that leadership and really share like, hey, these are the things that we were able to do and execute within the first week. Can you imagine what we're going to do in the first month? And at that time, it was also, we're having these conversations about like, do we add another resource, right? And so Zylo really helped us know, like, we don't need that resource to negotiate because Zylo is helping us with the negotiations. So that was a big, big win for SADA. And it really did start us on that track of like feeling confident and competitive. A couple of other big wins, I want to talk about is we were going through a negotiation. This is an existing tool. It's a hot tool on the market. It's a messaging and collaboration tool. And we thought we had this great partnership, right? We were getting this really good deal and we were able to like just renew as is. So we ran this through Zylo in the benchmarking information. And how quickly did we find we weren't getting an awesome deal. And we were over market. And so we were able to secure about a 15% discount across a 2-year deal, really driving the better package for SADA, all without having to like eliminate licenses or other things that, sometimes you have to play the game when you're trying to look at cost savings or avoidance. We were able to do a straight renewal with that discount based off of the benchmarking data. Another fun one to talk about is we have an applicant tracking system that we use. It's another popular tool in the market. And the business had come to me and they said, Tara, like, we're really struggling with this vendor. We've had some capability challenges. We've had some support challenges. We're really looking at replacing them. And I said, okay, well, we need to go look at competitors in the market. Like, can you help me understand who you want me to go have conversations with? All in the same time, I'm running this through Zylo because they couldn't figure out who the best competitors were. So we were able to stack that data inside of Zylo Benchmarks to identify who we were going to reach out to for the RFQ process. And at the same time, we ran some pricing through the process. And again, we found that we were overpaying for services. So between the benchmarking data, competitor pricing data, we were able to secure a package, rebrand our partnership and the vendor relationship, and get back to having a solid foundation, all while leveraging the data that we had inside of Zylo and the competitor pricing to secure like almost a $20,000 savings. And so there's no other way of saying it besides you can't help but feel empowered. And your team, when you're getting a $20,000 savings, $30,000, $50,000 savings with using this tool, your team starts feeling put together. Your leadership starts trusting you. And so this was one of those big wins for SADA because, again, we were having some challenges. And then to find out, that's another burn to us was we're overpaying. So thankfully everything's resolved. Everything's been great, but it's always a fun one that our team likes to continue to talk about. Another big, exciting one that I really do like sharing. It's not secured yet, so no ink on paper, but it's a big one that's coming up. So we have this tool and it's used for diagramming, content creation, and it's really used in a lot of the technical spaces here at SADA. Not necessarily an enterprise application, but it has a lot of users. And we were up for renewal recently and we started going through the formalities. Zylo is part of the SOP of like, hey, you have to check Zylo. So a team member comes back and she says, hey, I ran this through Zylo and I don't think that this is right, Tara, because like it's a lot of money. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? Like, how much? And she'd share like, what's like over $55,000 to $58,000. And we've been doing business with this company for a long time. And I was like, you didn't remove the licenses? Like, she's like, no. And so we went to the vendor and I said, hey, look, like we have this tool that we use for benchmarking, and I'm not comfortable renewing as is right now. Like, we are extremely overpaying for services, and we're not removing license counts either. Like, we need to make this right. How can we make this right? And they're like kind of playing the game of back and forth. And I finally said, look, I will show you the screenshots if this makes you feel comfortable. And you could see it immediately of the despair of, oh my gosh, like this exists. And so lo and behold, you know, we have come to a final pricing agreement, but it took us all by surprise, the amount of funding that we're going to be receiving back. And it's not avoidance, it's a direct savings. So those are some of the big wins that we always like talking about, or that I like talking about, and I'm very proud of, because it continues to engage our leadership, right? And the trust in the program. And, you know, some programs when you're new, because we are a newer program, you're trying to achieve the ROI immediately. You're trying to make big impacts. And when you don't have the right tooling, such as benchmarking, your journey takes a little bit longer. So SADA, we've been fortunate, and Zylo has been such a unique add to the services that we are able to provide within our department, that can make just a huge impact in a very small amount of time. So SADA definitely, we have a very good use case, and we continue to partner on a monthly basis to know and understand, like, hey, these are big wins for SADA that are coming up.